Welcome to Star Talk, everyone. And we are going to welcome our guest, Julia Hurley. And she is all about multi-generational wealth. And she's done this all through life coaching, and she's segued into quite a few things. So I'm going to let her explain that. And we're going to first talk about her journey. How is it that you started with life coaching and creating multi-generational wealth and your real estate business and whatnot?
Oh, I love it. Let's jump right in, Carly. Thank you for having me. I'm Julia Hurley. I own thejuliahurley.com. And inside of that is all of the different things that we do. So the first thing I did was start a real estate company nearly 14 years ago to the day. So we're right on the cusp of our 14-year anniversary of selling real estate. And of course, that doesn't happen overnight. That takes a long time to build out. So about 6 years in, we hit our fifth, 2 years in, we hit 100 deals a year. And then we continued that process through another 4 years. And during that time, I started bringing people onto my team, started becoming a team owner, a brokerage owner, and started coaching the system that creates all of this ability to create that wealth. And as I went along to coaching that, I found that the biggest barrier to a successful business is not always the business acumen. It's really more personal. So those kinds of conversations turned more from just business coaching to life coaching in general. And I took a step back and created a system for those conversations as well. So you really need to know about what's inside of you to be your best you to build a business. You can do both, but if you're your best self, your business succeeds astronomically. So we went from just selling real estate to coaching real estate to life coaching. So that's kind of how that started and how it progressed.
And I love that, because the reality is we don't know what we don't know. And I think everyone needs a mentor or a coach. It's just something that really helps you exponentially grow as a person, as your business grows. And I always say mind, body, business, spirit, because if one of those is out of whack, it affects the other.
So I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, so that's what I do in my life coaching as well. It's just basically getting to know someone, getting to know their archetype, how they learn, how they cope, and building from there. So I'd love for you to talk about how clients can reach out to you, but two, explain to them what your process looks like.
Yeah, it is an interesting process. I always start with the basic questions. How much do you know about yourself? And where are you in the business that you want to create? Because those are two separate things, right? How much do you know about yourself? Do you have an Enneagram? I know that sounds so ridiculous, but an Enneagram number, just even starting that process, Enneagram really helps. Do you have a DISC, D-I-S-C? Do you have a DISC profile? Do you have a Strength Finders profile? Are these random tests online that you have sought after and learned a little bit about yourself? Do we have that information? Are we starting from scratch? Have we previously owned a business and failed? So it's a lot of just conversational aspect of checking off about 100-part questionnaire. And during the answers, I really get to know each client really well and can put together a program of where I feel like they should be headed. And then we talk about what that looks like after.
So I know the programs you were talking about. I'm not going to assume that everyone else knows what we're talking about. So can you go back and list those psychological tests, if you will? Just name them. Yeah. And then that way also you're going to send me a list of those, so that way I can put it in there, because they are really valuable tools. And I don't think everyone knows those tools unless they've been to like T. Harv Eker Center, T. Harv Eker used them. I know Christopher Howard and a lot of other speakers use them in their programs. And I can't assume that everyone knows what we're talking about. So let's tell people what some of those programs can do for them.
Sure. The DISC profile is probably my favorite one. Honestly, it is my favorite one. Not probably, it is. The DISC profile is my favorite one. D is do, demand, get it done now, get it done right. That's typically red. I is individualism. I is yellow, very happy, very bubbly, somebody who loves talking with other people. S is for service. It's in blue and very service oriented people. And C is for caution. Caution, caution, by the way, isn't a bad thing. And I find that a lot of people that end up in the C category, oddly enough, are people who really get in their own way when trying to start a business. So understanding what each one of those letters means and where you fall percentage wise in that is easy. To understand yourself and then understand how to better communicate with others. So the DISC profile, DISC, is my absolute favorite place to start. It's also the easiest test to take online, maybe 30 minutes tops. And it really shows you not just who you are, how you operate, but it has a shadow self portion in that. It's a pie chart or it's basically a pie chart, and the color of each one of those will show you the percentage you are of that, but there will be a shadow behind it. And that means that's who you are when you're around other people. And that will show you how much time you need to recover from your shadow self. And I don't think a lot of people know about that or study that or look at that part as much as they look at the colored portion. So going through that with a fine-tooth comb is really valuable, especially if you're starting a business. Life coaching and life coaching to start a business, two separate conversations, but the DISC profile is really, really pertinent.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I love doing it. You just discover so much about yourself, and it really helps you fine tune what you're doing.
Right.
At least in my opinion. And what are some of the other ones that you've used?
So I use Enneagram. That one is very in depth. The Enneagram, it is very difficult. There are 9 numbers on an Enneagram. It sounds simple, 9 numbers. It's not. 9 numbers turns into 45 numbers really quickly. So it's who you are as far as your archetype, I guess you could say. I'm a type 1. I'm a 99% type 1. There's no mistaking that I'm a type 1. I am a perfectionist, and that is through and through who I am. And I have to remember that's who I am when I'm around other people. Not everyone thinks like you do, and not everyone wants what you want. Okay. So understanding who you are and who your opposite is. So who is your absolute opposite? Well, for a 1, it's a 4. My husband is a 4. Lucky there. So strange how that works. But once you understand your number, it doesn't mean that's all you are, but it means that that's a big portion of who you are and what influences you. And understanding what other people are around you helps you learn your impact on them just as much as their impact on you. I always say this: when we're driving the boat, we don't see the wake that we leave behind us. And those are the people behind us. Those are the people either following us because we are their leader, they're employed by us, they are our family, they are our friends, they are our community. So who you are drives that boat. Do not leave a huge wake behind you and drown everyone in just who you are. We really need to calm those waters and figure it all out. So Enneagram is my second favorite.
And is there any other ones that you like besides those two? Because I know there's so many more.
There's so many. I would say Strength Finders. That one's very interesting. I mean, there are your top 5 and your bottom 5, and your top 5 and your bottom 5 need to find a middle ground. So the bottom 5, those aren't your strengths per se. They're not your weaknesses, but they're not your best strengths. So find someone that has those as their top 5, and you're going to find a good balance. And that means a business partner, a partner. It's very telling what your 5 top are going to be as to how you, again, need to operate and look at things through a lens of how you impact other people. And then I would say the last one, my last favorite one, would be love languages, which sounds super simple, but I know how I like to receive, but do I know how I best give, and how another person best receives, and how they best give? And if you can figure that out, there are so many things that you can change in a conversation and a business deal to work around that situation to make it a win-win for everybody. So highly recommend that.
Yeah, I love neurolinguistics repatterning just for that purposes. It teaches you the angles to sit when you're with people, and then the different colors, what each different color means, what text color is better. I think all that stuff is just so fascinating. I think the human mind is fabulous and brilliant. And I love life coaching because it gives us the chance to help transform people, get people
Mhm.
through breakthroughs, get people going through something that they don't know how to solve, right? So,
Right.
what types of tips could you give to a person who wanted to start being a life coach?
Yeah. So obviously reach out to a life coach. I mean, again, you can find me at thejuliahurley.com for all coaching. And I'm happy to do that. You can buy my book that helps put together a little bit of a program for you. So that gives you a step by step on how to just proceed with things in general. But reaching out to a life coach, taking maybe a one on one for 15 minutes, if they're not offering that first 15-minute conversation for free to see if you're a good fit, I don't know. I personally would skip it. We always offer a free 15-minute. I want to see if you're a good fit for our coaching program. And I want to know if we're a good fit for what you're really looking for. You may need a different coach. I don't know. Not every coach is the best for every person, right? So just reach
Exactly.
out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think communication is such an amazing tool, and we have to have the strength to reach out to people. And I think everyone needs someone that they can look forward to. What are like? I'd really love to leave the audience with like 3 aha moments for you, like in terms of building your business.
Mm. Well, business building is a completely different conversation, but building for life coaching, we literally did this in our team for real estate. So we started with real estate coaching, which is my expertise, started building other people's businesses, started seeing the roadblocks in their business had nothing to do with business. It would be, I, I'm having a spousal issue, I'm having a personal issue at home, I've got a health issue in my family, something's happening to me mentally that I can't overcome and it's affecting the business. The business wasn't the problem. It was never the problem. The systems in the business ran themselves. You have to run the business. So we really created that conversation, and I learned more about life coaching because of the business coaching. So if you're starting a life coaching business, I would really sit down and have a conversation with myself and my partner and the people that are in my life and see where you can contribute to solving problems. And if the way that you have contributed to solving those problems has people coming back to you, asking you to continue to help solve problems, you have a very great opportunity to start a business there. So I would start with people that you know.
That's a great tip. And what are like 2 other major ahas that you would have to give people for them to really like have that light bulb moment turn on?
Well, I think you have to really want to do it. You have to really want to do it. So find out if it's something you actually want to do. Shadow someone who currently does it. Shadow anybody that will allow you to shadow them that's in the coaching business, whether it's life coaching, athlete coaching, real estate coaching, industrial coaching, whatever it is, everyone's got something, but you really need to want to do it. So find someone that will allow you to spend 5 to 10 hours with them in a couple of weeks time span to see if this is something that you can actually do and it's not just something that you find fascinating that you want to do for yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's got to be something, yes, that you're passionate about, but it's also got to be something that you know you can do well. There's no
Right.
point. And also like I like a lot of people are so afraid that there's not that many people. Like there's a sea of people. Well, there's also a sea of coaches. So
Hmm.
there's always someone for someone. It's just the way it is. We fall in
Right.
love with the body language. You fall in love with the conversation. You fall in love with the person's just whatever it is. There's that connection that you create with someone. And everyone's going to find that. Everyone will find someone for them. There's always someone for someone.
Right. There's always going to be a
I truly
match.
believe that.
So, but if you don't put yourself
Exactly.
out there, how are you going to find your match?
Exactly. So what about your I know you talked about a little bit when we talked a little bit about the athleticism part of it, that you're
Mhm.
working with people with athletes. I'd love to hear a little bit about that because I've been lifting weights since 1982, since the
Nice.
Jack LaLanne days. So I'm always fascinated and I've had coaches in that area as well. So I'm always fascinated in how that's changed over the years. So how are you doing with the athletic coaching?
I love the athletes. That is our new favorite thing. Not only And again, this all stemmed from real estate. They buy real estate, they invest in real estate. Collegiate athletes are now getting paid with NIL, and they are taking their money seriously. They want to do something with it. They want to be coached through a successful career to a successful life. And they are starting young. And we're talking kids that are 17 years old are coming to me with literal, real world problems, financial issues, physical issues, mental issues, and they have a job now. They're getting paid to do this as a job. It is their career. They're taking it seriously. And they want to know, how can I make it to the next step in my life with the fewest amount of setbacks possible? And we all know athletes make the best employees because they just know how to work. They work 16-hour work days, 6 days a week, 310 days a year. I mean, it is just consistent productivity. So that never goes away. You also have to be able to have the conversation about burnout, recovery time, self-reflection, self-growth, self-time, healing, forcing yourself to leave that space and make relationships outside of your sport, and learning how to communicate with people outside of your bubble, because once you're there, the bubble's all you have. So all of those conversations come into play, and typically start with one of the kids reaching out and saying, hey, another athlete told me that you've helped them. Can you help me too? And we do the exact same thing. Great. Let's jump on a Zoom call or an in-person call. If you're local to where I'm at, I'll come to you. If you're not, we'll jump on a call and see if this is something that I think you could benefit from. And if we can work together well, and we put a package together and go from there.
That sounds really great. I'm really loving the way you're also looking at the whole person and how you've tied business into coaching. So I really think they're just interchangeable. I just think it's, something that is mandatory. So where can everyone reach you again? Please let everyone know where they can reach you.
Yes. My website, thejuliahurley.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been really insightful to have people understand that coaching can be a livelihood, but you also can start someplace else and arrive someplace else. Life is all about change and growth. So I appreciate you being here with me. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Carly. I really appreciate it.
You're
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. See you next week.